This has likely created some of the harshest conditions North Koreans have ever had to live through.
Many people in the Western world have limited knowledge and exposure to Asia, including an understanding of what life is like on this continent. Specifically, our awareness of the Democratic Republic of Korea, also referred to as North Korea, is extremely limited. This East Asian nation stands out from the rest of the world in numerous ways. Since the armistice of the Korean War in 1953, North Korea has prided itself on isolating its citizens from the outside world. It is governed by leaders who display characteristics of megalomania and paranoia. Due to its extreme seclusion, the inner workings of the country remain largely unknown, except for the testimonies of spies and defectors who have experienced harrowing situations. Our knowledge of North Korea is solely based on the information that its leadership decides to make public. Therefore, here are 15 peculiar phenomena that exist exclusively in North Korea. Number 1. 3 generations of punishment policy. In North Korea, committing a crime, regardless of your social status, results in severe consequences. Unlike in other countries, where only the accused faces punishment, North Korea follows a kin punishment policy. This means that if you violate the law, not only will you be penalized, but your parents, grandparents, and children will also suffer the same fate. In some cases, if the perpetrator cannot be identified, their family members will bear the punishment on their behalf. Numerous accounts from defectors of North Korea have verified the existence of this practice in the country. According to this policy, up to 3 generations of a family linked to a political offender can be immediately imprisoned or even executed. These actions are based on internal Workers' Party guidelines and fall outside of the formal legal system. The relatives of the criminal are not provided with an explanation as to why they have come under suspicion, and even the children born within prison walls are subjected to the same punishment. The system of associating punishment with an offender's family was established when North Korea was founded in 1948, although it had already existed during the Joseon Kingdom. The prison camps in North Korea are designed to be intentionally cruel, aiming to instill fear that discourages any thoughts of wrongdoing. Those suspected of political crimes are sent to the most brutal labor camp known as Kwanlee-so. Reports suggest that these places are unbearably harsh. Inmates are routinely subjected to starvation, torture, and physical abuse, and even the family members of the criminals face similar treatment, despite them not having violated any laws. Even if you are the most loyal citizen of North Korea, a wrongdoing committed by your grandchild, such as disrespecting a picture of Kim Jong-un, can result in spending the rest of your life in a labor camp. Number 2. Nasty fertilizer. North Korea has been facing a severe shortage of fertilizer, which has been a long-standing issue. This problem became more challenging during the pandemic as the country had to stop importing agricultural manure from China. In 2022, North Korea identified securing manure as their top struggle for the year. Another factor contributing to the shortage is the government's prioritization of military and nuclear expenditures over agriculture. Additionally, North Korea lacks the ability to produce its own chemical fertilizer and is restricted by sanctions from obtaining it from other countries. As a result, local farmers are in desperate need of assistance to maintain their crops. The fertilizer shortage has led to an increased demand for night soil, which is essentially the use of human feces in fields. Initially, farmers resorted to utilizing their own waste, but over time, human excrement became a valuable commodity, leading to the emergence of shops selling it. By 2014, the North Korean government officially mandated the use of human and livestock manure in agriculture. As farmers had no other choice, human feces became known as the most effective fertilizer, resulting in vegetables grown with it being considered delicious. In cases where families couldn't produce enough waste or afford to buy it, they might resort to stealing from others. It's important to note that human excrement is unsanitary, and defectors from North Korea have been found to have intestinal worms. Despite state-run media promoting the use of this self-made manure, the crisis persisted, and in June 2022, Kim Jong-un declared a severe food shortage in the country. Number 3. K-pop can get you killed. North Korea has made it clear that it is engaged in a cultural battle and has cautioned its citizens against any association with South Korean influences, including fashion, music, hairstyles, and even slang. The rise of South Korea as a prominent cultural force in the last decade, with the popularity of their makeup, skincare, K-pop, K-drama, and more, has garnered global fan following. However, North Korea is determined to prevent this South Korean influence from seeping into its borders. In the past, North Korea has publicly executed at least 7 individuals for watching or sharing K-pop videos from South Korea. The supreme leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, has referred to K-pop as a destructive cancer and openly expressed his disdain for the music culture of South Korea, a longtime adversary. Since assuming power, Kim Jong-un has attacked all forms of South Korean entertainment, asserting that it corrupts the minds of North Korean people. In 2020, a law was enacted, allowing the death penalty for those involved in disseminating South Korean entertainment. It was also Kim Jong-un's initiative to publicly execute individuals found guilty of watching or circulating banned content. The city of Hyeseon in South Korea has become a hub for thousands of North Korean defectors, making it a key target for Kim Jong-un in his efforts to eliminate the infiltration of K-pop. Hyeseon is regarded as a primary entry point for external information, including South Korean entertainment stored on USB drives. Number 4. Ban on foreign media. Nowadays, it is well known that North Korea is cracking down on Western media. In fact, the authorities have threatened to punish parents if their children are caught watching films and television shows made in the West in North Korea. Under the new regulations, parents who have children caught watching foreign films will be sent to labor camps for 6 months, while their children will face a 5-year prison sentence. Not too long ago, parents would receive a serious warning if their children were found in possession of foreign media. However, the government is now showing no leniency, considering exposure to Western culture as an unforgivable offense. In addition, North Korea is pressuring parents to educate their children according to socialist ideals. According to an anonymous source interviewed by Radio Free Asia, parents were given a stern warning during the weekly Inman Bond, which is a mandatory neighborhood watch unit meeting. Those who are found behaving in a South Korean manner will receive a 6-month prison sentence, and their parents will also be subject to a 6-month term. Furthermore, anyone caught smuggling Western media across the border can even face the death penalty. Number 5. Daily power cuts. North Korea has been facing a long-term energy crisis, as shown by satellite images of the country at night. Despite advancements in weapons development under Kim Jong-un's leadership, North Korea still suffers from a significant power shortage even after 70 years of existence. The satellite images reveal North Korea as a dark area situated between China and South Korea. The cityscape is adorned with solar panels on balconies, and students rely on streetlights to read their books at night. Power outages during nighttime are widespread across the country. However, this was not always the case. During the period of Japanese colonial rule, North Korea was a highly developed industrial center with superior electricity generation capabilities, possibly even surpassing Japan. Unfortunately, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, North Korea lost its access to heavily subsidized spare parts and technical expertise. Based on World Bank data, only 1 in 3 North Koreans have access to electricity. The authorities prioritize power distribution, often prioritizing the industrial sector over residential areas. Number 6. Basketball rules. Kim Jong-un, the authoritarian leader of North Korea, has a strong passion for basketball, particularly for the Chicago Bulls and players like Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman. In 2013, he even invited Rodman to Pyongyang to organize a basketball game. However, the basketball played in North Korea follows some peculiar scoring rules. It is believed that these unique rules were first implemented by Kim Jong-un's late father and former leader Kim Jong-il. When Kim Jong-un took over as the supreme leader in 2011, he made some amendments to the regulations. While North Korean teams play by international rules in global competitions, they adopt their own set of rules for local tournaments. In North Korean basketball games, slam dunks are worth 3 points, whereas a three-pointer earns 4 points. A thrilling addition to the game occurs in the final 3 seconds, where baskets are awarded a whopping 8 points if the ball doesn't touch the rim. Surprisingly, missing a free throw results in a deduction of 1 point. These unconventional rules can drastically impact a team's strategy, depending on the score difference. Number 7. Traffic conductors or models. North Korea is notorious for its oppressive regime and the atrocities faced by its citizens. But amidst the horrors, there are some peculiarities that stand out. One such anomaly is the presence of iconic traffic girls in the country. These female traffic controllers have gained such fame that they have dedicated fan pages on social media. In the past, when traffic lights were scarce, North Korea, like many other countries, relied on humans to direct traffic, particularly in cities. In Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, young, attractive, slim women were chosen for this role. Unfortunately, even in the present day, North Korea cannot afford traffic lights on every street corner due to its struggling economy. The leadership prioritizes spending on warfare rather than prosperity and development. Consequently, these beautiful female traffic controllers still manage the flow of traffic in most parts of the city. Approximately 50 women work as traffic controllers in Pyongyang, and they have become national symbols for the country. Reports indicate that this job is highly coveted, and according to Koryo Tours, these traffic officers supposedly receive better pay and more food than the average North Korean. They also benefit from free housing and healthcare provided by the state. These young and attractive controllers don smart military-style uniforms and endure all weather conditions while stationed at their posts. Kim Jong-il, the former leader of North Korea, took a particular interest in these women, and even provided them with new equipment, such as umbrella-covered platforms to stand on. These women are apparently highly desired by men in the country due to their good looks and elevated social status, leading to fierce competition in winning their affections. In 2013, one of these traffic girls received the highest military honor in North Korea. The video of her receiving the award was released, though the exact reason for this recognition remains unclear. Some sources suggest that she inadvertently thwarted an assassination attempt while directing traffic. Number 8. Caste system based on loyalty. The ascribed status system known as songbun is utilized in North Korea and is based on a person's ancestors' political, social, and economic background, as well as their relatives' behavior. It classifies citizens into 3 main castes: core, wavering, and hostile, with numerous subclassifications. This classification determines the level of trust and responsibility given to individuals, shaping their access to educational and employment opportunities. It also determines eligibility to join the ruling party. Songbun's origins lie in a 1956 resolution and the Korean Workers' Party's guidance project, dividing the population into friendly, neutral, and enemy forces based on family background. Those with backgrounds such as landlords, lawyers, or Christian ministers are given the lowest status, while those descended from resistance fighters against Japanese occupation and occupations such as factory workers, laborers, and peasants are given high status. Helen Louise Hunter, a CIA analyst, believes the communist regime in North Korea successfully reshaped the pre-revolutionary social structure, with songbun reflecting this. The preferred class comprises approximately 30% of the population, the middle class constitutes 40%, and the bottom 30% are seen as undesirables. Security officials and party cadres in North Korea begin maintaining files on individuals at age 17, updating them every 2 years. Number 9. Birthing laws. Similar to other aspects of life, the laws and rights surrounding childbirth in North Korea differ significantly from those in the rest of the world. According to local regulations, unmarried women are prohibited from registering the births of their children, resulting in these children being deprived of legal protections within the closed-off nation. This policy was exposed in 2020 when unmarried mothers in the South Pyongyang province sought vaccinations for their infants but were turned away. Consequently, these children born out of wedlock are denied essential provisions such as food and health care. Furthermore, North Korean mothers must adhere to strict and unusual birthing rules, including giving birth in isolation without any witnesses. They are also prohibited from seeing their families or spouses for a week following delivery. If triplets are born, they are handed over to the state due to concerns about the country's declining birth rate. However, they are returned to their parents once they reach the age of 4. The government has grown increasingly worried about the falling fertility rate in North Korea and is now urging women to have more children for the sake of the nation's future. Number 10. International calls are a crime. The numerous human rights violations and the approach of the North Korean government towards international relations under Kim Jong-un's rule have brought the country into the spotlight. While people around the world enjoy certain necessities, such as public access to communication, North Korean citizens are denied this privilege. The government strictly monitors all forms of communication and considers making international phone calls illegal. Control over communication technology is tightly held by the government, and any interaction with countries seen as enemies is prohibited. According to Amnesty International, although a popular mobile service exists in North Korea, it does not allow for international phone calls. Only a privileged few citizens and foreigners have access to the internet, while ordinary North Koreans are forbidden from using their mobile phones to contact defected family members. Breaking this law can result in detention camps or political prisons. As a result, citizens who have escaped the country live in constant fear and uncertainty about the well-being of their families back home. To connect with the outside world, North Korean citizens have been relying on smuggled phones and SIM cards from China for years. Number 11. Jeans are banned. It may appear absurd, but it is indeed true that the Democratic Republic of Korea has placed a ban on wearing jeans, particularly blue and skinny jeans. This prohibition extends to all citizens, as Kim Jong-un views these pants as a symbol of American influence and capitalism. The North Korean government has explicitly labeled jeans as representative of American imperialism. However, it is not just jeans that have been targeted. A variety of Western clothing items like t-shirts, skirts, and suits are also prohibited. Instead, individuals are required to wear traditional Korean attire such as hanboks. The North Korean leadership has expressed disapproval towards various Western fashion trends, including mullet haircuts, ripped denim clothing, spiky and dyed hair, branded t-shirts, and certain piercings. Since 2022, North Korea has intensified its crackdown on capitalist fashion. Youth League patrols are vigilant in enforcing restrictions on individuals who possess characteristics such as long hair extending to the waist, brown-dyed hair, clothing adorned with large foreign letters, and women wearing tight pants. When caught violating these regulations, individuals must wait by the roadside until the patrols conclude their inspection. Afterward, authorities escort them to the Youth League office, where they are required to confess their transgressions in writing. Offenders are permitted to leave once someone brings them appropriate clothing to wear. Number 12. North Korean calendar. The Kim family, especially the founder of North Korea, Kim Il-sung, is highly revered in the country. Despite being deceased, he continues to hold a godlike status and is officially recognized as the eternal president. As part of the unique nature of North Korea, they follow a calendar called the Juche calendar, which is based on Kim Il-sung's birth date of April 15, 1912. Alongside the Western calendar, the Jewish calendar is used and identified by a specific year. For example, instead of saying it is the year 2019, people would say it is Jewish 108. The Jewish calendar was taught in schools, and using it was considered more elegant by some individuals. Even after defecting to South Korea, it took the woman mentioned in the article a while to stop referring to the Jewish calendar. The Jewish calendar was established in 1997 on the third anniversary of Kim Il-sung's death, and it symbolizes self-reliance. Both the Jewish and Western years are included in North Korean publications, and it is expected that every citizen uses them. The government has implemented measures to make it easier for citizens to remember the Jewish calendar. Number 13. A North Korean computing system and internet. The Democratic Republic of Korea tightly regulates and supervises the information its citizens can access. Obtaining permission from the government is necessary for individuals to own a computer, and each computer is registered with the police as if it were a dangerous weapon. Although the internet is not entirely banned, the vast majority of North Koreans cannot fathom owning a computer or having internet access. Only a small portion of the population, primarily in major cities, utilizes computer labs in offices, universities, and cyber cafes. The internet in North Korea, known as Kwangmyong or Bright Star, operates on pirated Japanese versions of Microsoft software and resembles the Internet from the mid-1990s. It is predominantly used for government purposes and by foreigners. The country does have some broadband infrastructure, such as fiber optic links between major institutions, but online services for most individuals and institutions operate solely on the domestic-only network. While a limited group of people can access the global Internet, it is restricted with less than 30 websites available since 2016. These websites predominantly consist of propaganda, government affairs, tourism information, recipes, and North Korean films. Loading times for these basic websites are often extensive. Some academic institutions like Pyongyang University of Science and Technology have limited access to the global Internet, although it is closely monitored. In 2016, North Korea blocked Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and South Korean content, and there were plans in 2021 to upgrade the network from 3G to 4G. Number 14, state-selected haircuts and fashion. The North Korean government believes that clothing people in uniform is an effective method of maintaining control and preventing rebellion. In a society where everyone looks the same, it becomes more difficult for individuals to express themselves through their clothing, hairstyle, and personal hygiene. Consequently, North Korea exercises strict control over the appearance of its citizens. A government-published women's magazine dictates the guidelines for women's attire, emphasizing loose and modest clothing while forbidding any foreign fashion trends. The state aims to ensure that women's appearance aligns with the socialist way of life, and those who deviate from these guidelines face public shaming. Although there were unconfirmed reports suggesting that people could select from a limited range of haircuts, the magazine explicitly stated that women were not permitted to have long hair. However, due to the global desire for personal style, there has been a rebellion against these restrictions within North Korea. According to a New York Times report, women in Pyongyang often defy the regulations by wearing stilettos, skirts above the knee, and vibrant clothing. The country has developed a thriving black market for clothing and makeup imported from South Korea. To suppress these displays of individuality, North Korea has established a fashion police consisting of a women's union equipped with whistles. Their responsibility is to enforce the rules regarding women's attire. Number 15, Leisure Squad. Believe it or not, the government of North Korea has its own pleasure brigade called Kpumjo or Gipi Umujo. This brigade consists of around 2,000 women and girls who are maintained by the leader of North Korea. Their main purpose is to provide entertainment, including sexual services, for high-ranking officials, their families, and some distinguished guests of the Workers' Party of Korea. Very little is known about the Kpumjo outside of North Korea, with most information coming from defectors. One defector named Mi Hyang claimed to be a former member of the Kpumjo and shared her experience with Marie Claire magazine. Kenji Fujimoto, who served as a chef to Kim Jong-il, also provided some information. According to a British journalist named Jasper Becker, a former bodyguard revealed that each pleasure group consisted of 3 teams: a satisfaction team called Manjokjo, a happiness team called Hangbokjo, and a dancing and singing team called Gamujo. Based on interviews with North Korean defectors, it was discovered that girls from all over the country were recruited to join the Kpumjo based on specific criteria set by the government. Suki Kim, an American journalist who lived undercover in North Korea, mentioned that one of the criteria was virginity. Suitable teenage girls were apparently recommended to recruiters by schools, and their parents received benefits and money for their involvement. Members of the Kpumjo underwent intense training, and many retired from the brigade around the age of 22 to marry elite members of the country. In 2015, Kim Jong-un reportedly sought new members for his own Kpumjo after his father's group was dismantled. The recruitment and training for these new members in 2015 were carried out by the 5th Department of Staff of the party's organic direction.